Hatchochochia, Sia Cha Eskali, Kula S. Jordan Remington, Haley Kuliut. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Reflections, What the Water Holds. My name is Jordan Remington. I am a member of the Ward Woodruff family of the Kuliut tribe, and I am the Community Engagement and Programs Coordinator at Friends of Waterfront Seattle. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for joining us. So we want to recognize that we in the city of Seattle and the surrounding areas are on Indigenous land, and that Seattle was the ancestral homelands of the Duwamish people, and today Seattle's lands and waters exist within the usual and accustomed territories of the Muckleshoot and Suquamish tribes, as well as it holds importance to other tribes as well, including the Talaya. And I want to recognize that land acknowledgements are just acknowledging the dispossession of land from Native people and do not necessarily actively reflect or impact the impact of that dispossession. So more action is needed. And tonight, I am so glad that we are joined by the Muckleshoot Canoe Family and Mackenzie, a Kohari choreographer and dancer, really showing and reflecting that indigeneity is not a monolith and that there is a wide breadth of what it means to be Indigenous. So yeah, thank you all for coming, and I will turn it over to Davida.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Davida Ingram. I want to give love to my co-curator, Jordan Remington. I'm the Public Engagement Programs Manager at the Seattle Public Library. The Salish Sea shines in the songs and dances we will share today. Tonight, we are also intentionally connecting Native American, Indigenous culture, and art with that of the African diaspora in the US, because our communities have let us know that they want to see us center and amplify Indigenous sovereignty and Black liberation. We also are offering this program as a love letter to our city. It's a remarkable time, and sometimes it's a trying time. So if you've been wishing for the waters of connection, compassion, care, and community, this is your program. This is for you. Seattle Together. Again, big love to all of the Reflections artists. We're going to be celebrating them. Also, Futsum Sagai, he's our SPL artist in residence and videographer. Jordan, Ann, Yoon, Marie, Calandra, and so many more have helped put this program together. Thank you for this incredible show. We also know that artists can see us through if we support them. So thank you for supporting Indigenous and Black artists and BIPOC creativity. This program is made possible with support from the Seattle Public Library Foundation, and of course our co-presenters, Friends of the Waterfront Seattle, Seattle Office of Arts and Culture, the Seattle Office of Waterfront and Civic Design, Seattle Art Museum. We're going to give a shout out a little bit later to our community partners, but for right now, we're going to kick off the program with an opening song from the Muckleshoot Canoe Family. From there, our fabulous event MCs, David Rue and Ricky Reyes, are going to have incredible artist interviews all throughout tonight. You can always hit the chat with your comments and feedback. We love you, and take it away.
Hatslahel Siaya, Willerville Jr. Titsta, Muckleshoot Option. My name is Willerville Jr. I'm an enrolled member of the Muckleshoot Indian tribe, and today we have members of the Muckleshoot Canoe Family. We stand here on our traditional homelands near our villages of Zeolage and our summer encampments out at Duwamish Head and Alki Point. This first song is called Rosie's Song, after Rosie Anderson, who composed it to talk about the strength and happiness of our people. This next song we're going to share is part of our Ocean-Going Canoe Society. It comes from the late Chief Frank Nelson, who came down, worked with our people 17 years ago to help us bring back our Coast Salish voice. Oh,
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Hello, everybody. My name is David Rue. I am one of the co-MCs for tonight, and thank you so much for having me. I'm a dance artist and creative professional based here in Seattle. I work at Seattle Art Museum, where I do public engagement, working primarily with adult public programs. And I'm also a dance artist, and I've performed with choreographers like Danny Terrell, Zoe Schofield, Ella Marlar, and Randy Ford. What you just saw was an incredible performance by Muckleshoot Canoe Family, and we are going to have an opportunity to hear from them. So let's start just by beginning. Also, by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to them afterwards. But let's get started with the Muckleshoot Canoe Family. I'd love to just hear folks' names. If you could just introduce yourselves.
Aslachel Siaya, Justice Bill Tietsta, to all Chuth Buckleshoot. Good day, everyone. My name is Justice Bill.
Atzlahel Siaya, Willard Bill Jr. Tidsta, and my name is Willard Bill Jr., and I am an enrolled member of the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, where I am the cultural director.
Hat Slachel, Wayne Tietsta, Muckleshoot Abshed, Twal Ched Skolat Sapch. Good day. Hello, everybody. My name is Wayne Buchanan. I am a citizen of the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, and I come from the Boise Creek Band of Muckleshoot.
Again, thank you all so much for everything that you shared. That was really powerful. So I know a lot of your work is rooted in a really beautiful traditional practice that has survived colonialism. I would love for you all just to take some time and talk about what those songs meant. And then also just talking about how guests on Indigenous land can help tribes with cultural preservation, whatever that means for you. You can answer that question however you would like, but I would love to hear and just share what you guys had to share with us.
First of all, thank you. And that's also a very good question. Songs for me are a representation of the spirit of our people. It was not until 1978 where we could once again practice our religious ceremonies or sing in them. So song was a vital element within our society and still is today. And they hold a lot of importance to myself and my tribe, as they're the embodiment of our resiliency and perseverance over colonialism. For the latter half of the question, I guess for me, the best way to, be a good guest and help with cultural preservation would just to be, look at our history, look at our struggles, look at the land, at least for which you specifically reside on, right? I think a lot of people, when they think of tribes, they just think of how tribes over east of the Cascades, as opposed to here in the Seattle area, where it's vastly different. And then with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off.
Yeah, well, the first song that we sang, Rosie's song, the meaning of that song, which my dad addressed in the video, but it speaks to the strength and happiness of our people. And I think that's a very important message to relay, because of all of the stuff that our people have gone through, the both physical and cultural genocide. We still remain, and it's not we're living destitute, right? We're thriving as we speak, and we're happy to be here, and we're a strong people. And then the second song, Woman's Honor song, it speaks to the interconnectedness of our people, right? So that song comes all the way up in Kingcome Inlet, which is it would take us over a month to get there by water. But it speaks to how connected our people are by the Salish Sea. And it was especially important this year to bring that out, because we weren't able to go on canoe journeys. We weren't able to see our relatives from other villages. And it was a nice way to remember, what we're missing during this time. And I think for guests, especially if you're watching in Seattle, but all over the place, make sure that when you're honoring our people and you're honoring our land, that it's not performative, right? That you're actually taking into account our history and listening to the perspectives of Native people, and actually taking to heart what they have to say, and not just relying on hearsay, right? And that's all I have for you guys right now.
And I think the young men, they answered both those questions well. And I think really what we want to get across to people is, is that we have a saying that's called Halichidawalef, which means we are alive and strong. We're still here. We're as resilient people. We're your neighbors. We work with you. We're the second largest employer in South King County, and we're a vibrant community and want to be seen as such. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. That was honestly incredible. And I always feel so grateful to be able to bear witness to everything that you share with us. So I'm super appreciative. Everybody show them love in the chat, show them love in the world. Thank you all again so much. Y'all are amazing. We're going to keep it going. We've got two new incredible works by Indigenous emerging choreographer Mackenzie Nisiak and then we're going to see some amazing work. So Mackenzie Nisiak is a choreographer, dancer, actress, musical theater artist based in Coast Salish territory. She believes the performing arts provide a necessary opportunity for visibility and healing for Native communities, and is honored to lead with her indigeneity. The work that you're going to see first is called Autumn, and the music is by Perma Red.
You can't have my body, but you can have my soul. It don't matter what you think you know. You can't have my body, but you can't have my soul. It don't matter what you think you know. You can have my body, but you can't have my soul. It don't matter what you think you know. You can have my body, but you can't have my soul. It don't matter what you think you know. Oh. Come on, cuz I was born to be free. Yeah. I was born to be free. You may think you know me, but you don't know enough. In fact, you better just shut up. You may think you know me, but you don't know enough. In fact, I think you better just shut up. Huh. I was born to be free. I was born to be free.
Hey, Mackenzie, that was amazing. How do you feel?
Thank you so much. I feel great. I'm honestly so honored to be here, and Futsum cinematography is just so gorgeous.
Hello.
So yeah, I just yeah.
Awesome. We're super honored to have you as well. So one of the things that I found when I watched your work is how beautifully it weaves your own individual artistry with a very clear kind of cultural practice. I would love for you to just talk about what that process means, and you can answer however you'd like. You can go as big or as small as you'd like. But I think what you shared was very particular to your own lived experience, and I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I from a young age, and many other Native women have the same story as me, experienced hypersexualization and, oddly enough, exoticization, which is funny if it's not sad. And yeah, this kind of otherization that really makes you feel ill at ease with your body from a young age, and feeling like you're unable to really take ownership of who you are. And so, growing up in the arts, I experienced that a lot. And now being an adult and being able to kind of own my body and own my sexuality in a way that is taking back that power, and something that I can be in control of, is something that's been really important to me. And of course, that underlying issue of otherization and is part of the reason why we have the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and or MMIW, which is what the red handprint at the end is for. That's the kind of the symbol of that movement. 90%, or excuse me, 1 in 3 Native women will be raped in her lifetime, and 90% of the perpetrators are non-Native. So this is, and this has been ongoing since settlers came here. So, I, of course, want to bring attention to that in any way that I can, and it's something that's deeply personal to me. I have stories. I know basically every Native woman I know has stories. And of course, we can talk about it as much as we said, but like Jordan said in the beginning, we really need to put action behind those words. So, a large part of that is educating. I would suggest looking into MMIW USA, or Red House Project, or Urban Indian Health Institute has some really great research on missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Advocate when policies come up. Savannah's Act was recently passed, but of course, one policy is never going to be enough. And advocate for tribal sovereignty, because at the end of the day, the only way we're going to protect Native women is by emboldening Indigenous communities. And then finally, amplify the voices of the matriarchs who have been doing this work since 1492. And yeah, donate when you can, put your money where your mouth is, and keep spreading the word. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that you got to articulate that, because even through your moving, dancing body, I kind of got the essence of what you were saying, not through words, but through the ways in which you were dancing around that incredible space. So thank you again so much. I know we're going to get a bit more of your work later, but is there anything else that you wanted to share or anything like that?
I think just thank you all for being here, and taking time to view Native and Black art. It's so important, and the fact that we're having this space to connect and be here together in the ways that we can in 2020 is so necessary. So thank you.
Well, thank you again so much. We'll see you a bit later tonight, darling. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we are going to be moving on. Choreographer, dancer, artist named Nia Amina Minor, and she's going to be sharing a work called For Those of Us. I'm going to read to you a bit more about Nia's work. Nia is a movement-based artist and dance educator from South Central Los Angeles and based in Seattle. Her work has many multidisciplinary points of interest, focusing on body and what it carries. So you're going to see 2 works. It's called For Those of Us. The collaborators are Koya Harris, Michelle Dooley, and Nia Amina Minor as the performers. The music is Rivers of Jordan by the Black Tones and Red Hum by D. Sabala Grimes. So let's give it up for Nia Amina Minor and co.
I'm gonna cross the rivers of Jordan. I'm gonna cross the rivers of Jordan one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna cross the rivers of Jordan. I'm gonna cross the rivers of Jordan one of these days. I'm gonna meet my mother in glory. I'm gonna meet my mother in glory one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna meet my mother in glory. I'm gonna meet my mother in glory one of these days. I'm gonna tell her how you treat me. I'm gonna tell her how you treat me one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna tell her how you treat me. I'm gonna tell her how you treat me one of these days. I'm gonna cross the rivers of Jordan. I'm gonna cross the rivers of Jordan one of these days. Hallelujah.
Shout out to everybody involved. I have chills underneath this turtleneck. Again, feel free to leave your responses as well as any questions you have in the chat. We actually really appreciate having everybody's thoughts. We're gonna get Nia in here to get some feedback from the artist. Nia Amina Minor. Thank you again so much for sharing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to take a second. How are you feeling after watching your work in this kind of world?
Wow, I'm speechless. And I have to send like deep, deep, deep love and appreciation to Okoye Harris and Michelle Dooley for like bringing that piece into existence and helping me find that language. And of course, Eva Walker from the Black Tones and Isabella Grimes for creating music that just taps into this ancestral wisdom that I needed at this moment.
Beautiful. Well, round of applause once again. You know, Nia, one of the things that I really appreciate about you is that you are what I call an arts polyglot. You can use so many different movement languages to communicate who you are and where you come from. And I really, really appreciate that. For both of the works that we saw, it seems like you were speaking a very clear language with your bodies. And not only that, with the ways that you were dressed and the music that you were using, that was a very clear narrative that communicated, to me at least, who you are, where you come from, and what you believe in, particularly with the relationship to the water. I would love for you to share any and anything about that and how it relates to you, because I feel like you were speaking a very specific dialect that I really appreciated bearing witness to.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the question. You know, the language my body speaks is definitely a collective voice. You know, it's mine, but it's ancestral and it's communal. And in particular for this piece, it is definitely Okoye Michelle's voice.
Yes.
Jordan's voice, Isabella Grimes' voice. And we dove into that space to find that language at the end of this summer, which was and continues to be a very difficult time, a very arduous time, a very emotionally, physically, psychologically exhausting time. And this piece for those of us is a piece that came out of the need to be held and cared for.
Yeah.
You know, began as an impossible task. We were trying to unearth those soul stories, those blood memories, and hold them close, dance with them held close. And then it transformed along the way into this kind of intimate act of remembering and reflecting of who we are and where we've come from. You know, and it provided this much needed space of grieving and healing. And the question I was asking myself and my collaborators, Okoye and Michelle, was, you know, what does our body carry? And what does it compel us to know in this moment? And of course, the festival was asking something very similar of us. What does this water carry and compel us to know? And, you know, we were moving through our own rituals and thinking about the ways that we have brought this on in our lives, whether it was a figure eight, a meditative wine, you know, combing, twisting our hair, these rituals that help us feel grounded and bear down. And it really did take on this intimate act of remembering that became a space of healing that I think we all needed in that moment. And I'm so happy to have been in that space with Michelle and Okoye.
Yes. Shout out to Michelle and Okoye. All three of you were absolutely incredible. And what you just shared, I feel like is also a reflection of the title that you chose. Everything seemed incredibly intentional, but also gave us the space to explore in our own kind of personal lineage, personal practice, while also very clearly being spoken through your voice. So I want to thank you again so much and huge congratulations. You know, you're one of my favorite dancers to watch. So it's a huge honor to be able to speak with you. And honestly, thank you again so much for sharing. And thank you again to your collaborators.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to this festival. I mean, this art, these folks a part of this are just truly phenomenal and inspirational. And I'm so pleased to be a part of it in the Seattle community.
Thank you again so much. Everybody involved. I like literally have goosebumps. All right, so everybody, we are going to turn it over to my other amazing co-MC, Ricky Reyes, and he is going to introduce our next performers. Ricky, you want to take it away?
Yes. Hello, David. Hello to the performers. Hello to the audience. My name is Ricky Reyes. I'm a Seattle-based researcher, musician, and racial equity coordinator with the Office of Arts and Culture. And just like if you're in the comments, if you could give a little bit of love and also send a little bit of love for folks who are about to come up next. But I'm super excited for who's up next. We've got Cipher Goings. Cipher is a dancer and instructor with the Northwest Tap Connection. He's also the youth curator for the Central District Forum for Arts and Ideas. He's currently a student at the University of Washington, and we also have a super special treat in the form of the person who is on the screen with me. We have Talaya, who wrote the song for Cipher's piece. Hello, hello. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So, I mean, I know that you wanted to tell a little bit just around the song. So, yeah, feel free to take it away. It's a banger. I'm excited for y'all to hear it.
Thank you. First of all, thank you guys so much for having me. This is a very special event, as I was a dancer for about 8 years with Northwest Tap Connection and Cipher. And so there's a lot of love there, but now I am an audio engineer and I make music. And so this song, I wrote it off of my EP titled The Space Between in 2019. And this song was very special. It's called Uncertain Interjection. And basically it just talks about kind of the fear that I had surrounding potential success. Like, you know, as artists, we try things and we hope that they work in whatever way that means to us. And sometimes it's actually scary to think that what you're doing, like the art that you're sharing, is actually going to serve the purpose that it's meant for. And so this song is really just about being unashamed and stepping into that space and claiming success and prosperity in whatever way, whatever adversity you're facing during that same time. So yeah, that's what the song is about. And thank you guys for using my art.
Thank you. That's super powerful. And like watching Cipher perform over the piece, like I'm just excited. I'm gonna let y'all kick it to the video because it's super dope.
Realize you can achieve your wildest dreams. Ever thought to yourself how crazy that could be? To do the things that you see in your sleep on that little TV in your head, instead of rolling over instead. Is it just me? Is it the possibility that excites me? I guess we will wait and see. Ooh, sometimes I go so hard I feel like I could pass out of stop. I don't know what comes over me, it's like I'm off the clock. And I'm writing these melodies, making all these beats. Recording makes a master and it takes over me. And I can't even see the day just when I would stop. I just get better with time, this ain't no race against the clock. I get scared I waste my years and get none of it back. But then I remember how it makes me feel. Is it just me? Is it the possibility that frightens me? I guess we will wait and see. Right now it's not up to me. By the turn 20, I'm not even sure how I made it this far. Try not to give up now, try not to lose it all. The simple fact, my mind won't let me sleep at night. I should have no worries, I'm young, I'll be just fine. Yet I woke up like 3 times, can't sleep till the sunrise. Busy life in the day, and I cannot rest until it falls. Until it all falls. I know I can be who I wanna be. If I stay 10 toes down, I'll be where I wanna be. I know I can be who I wanna be. If I stay 10 toes down, I'll be
Ooh, I don't think they was ready. Ooh, shout out. So I think we've got Cipher coming on. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Ricky?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm super excited. For those of you who don't know, Cipher and I got to talk for another event a couple months ago. And I'm glad that we're like kind of getting to continue this conversation. But like Davida was saying at the beginning, just to sort of like get into it, this program's like a love letter to Seattle. And I've seen you roll with Northwest Tap Connection. I've seen you roll with the Black Boys cast, in addition to David Rue, the co-host, one of my favorite shows, like dance shows that I've ever seen. And we've talked about how like the Seattle dance community has been super big just to your development as an artist. But your piece here is solo, and it's kind of intersecting at this time where folks are being asked to like physically distance. So I'm wondering what was going through your heart, what was going through your mind as you had to create this solo piece, thinking about just what it meant to create a love letter to the city and to your community.
Yeah, so I think Talaya definitely touched on some of these aspects when she was describing where she was at in creating the song. I think I fully related to the song in many aspects. I'm on the verge of being 20 years old. I'm in a very uncertain time in terms of just like, where am I going to go in life? I am a college student at UW, as you mentioned. I'm still a dancer at Northwest Tap Connection, and I had big plans pre the pandemic, and with the pandemic, I really had to reshape things and figure out, what does dancing look like now? What does my path look like now? And so a lot of what you're seeing in the piece, for example, the do-rag component, is just representational of just those reflectional times in my room when I'm just to myself and thinking about what is life right now. And then on top of that, in creating this piece, it was also during a time when I was in the height of my trauma surrounding the death of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many other Black, Brown, Indigenous people. Pretty much, I just wanted to highlight tranquility in spite of the chaos in the world.
Definitely. And I know that you were saying a big part of it was like kind of being forced in your room to think a little bit. And also, given that this piece is about water and this program is a little bit about water, I'm wondering just how you thought about connecting tap, water, and then finding peace during this time that's just been like such an upheaval to what you were hoping to do.
Yeah. I think for me, water has always been a place to go and just watch the waves, no matter how big or small they are, to just like kind of clear my head. I live really close to Lake Washington here in Seattle. And so often I'll either go on runs or drive down to the water and just find peace. And so I think people also have a monolithic view of like what tap dancing is supposed to be. And I wanted to highlight the contrast to that, which is people are used to seeing this super huge performative aspect of tap dancing, and it's fun, and that's definitely a big part of it. But also, tap dancing is an art form; it's a dance, and it has a range of what it can portray and be. And so, I wanted to just highlight the calmness that it can have in the percussion, and being able to perform next to water. I think also just and face the water. Just highlighted the fact that I was able to really clear my mind, and how water is nature's form of therapy for a lot of people.
Well, listen, I appreciate it. I said they wasn't ready, and I don't think they were. And you really showed out. So I appreciate you coming up and you doing this. It was super, super dope as a viewer.
Thank you, Ricky.
Definitely. Up next, we have Mackenzie Newsyoke. Mackenzie, like David was saying, is a choreographer, a dancer, an actress, musical theater artist based in Coast Salish territory. And we're going to bring Mackenzie on in for this second piece. Ooh, that was super dope. And I think we have Mackenzie on here as well too. Hello, how's it going? Good, good. I mean, we've talked a little bit already. Your conversation with David was super, super powerful. So I'm just gonna like get right into it. I'm wondering, sort of like connecting and thinking about this piece, thinking about your last piece. We've sort of like talked a little bit about it offline, but I'm wondering if there's something at the core of like the themes that you're trying to convey with these two pieces tonight. What's that core thing that you would just want viewers to take away, that you hope viewers would leave Reflections Dance Festival thinking about?
Yeah, so the first piece that we saw earlier is Autumn, named after kind of where I was and where the world was at the time when I was choreographing it, which was, late summer, early fall, which was, to say the least, a very tumultuous time for everybody, I think. And this piece I called Winter, in what is my hope for this winter, and that it's a space for, it's going to be a time to find breath and to find peace and healing. For many Indigenous communities, winter is a time of storytelling. And I really am just hoping that this is going to be a time for listening and for, again, for healing and for finding that space to breathe. I think everybody needs it. I know I do. And yeah, that was definitely something I was trying to channel here.
Definitely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I know that you're a member of the Kohari tribe, and I'm wondering the ways in which that specific Indigenous identity for you shows up in your dancing, and the ways in which those who are also a part of your tribe have really inspired you to create both of the pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, being Kohari is so close to my heart, and it's hard being so far away from my ancestral lands. I grew up here on Coast Salish land, 3,000 miles away from where my homelands are in what is now known as North Carolina. And that's something I struggle with, being Indigenous, but not being Indigenous to the land that you're on is a very interesting space to walk. And it's something a lot of other urban Indians, I'm sure, can feel the same. So I'm always just so inspired by the strength and the resilience of my people. I mean, we really were victims of assimilation in like the worst way. A lot of what makes us Native, our language and our religion, was taken long before I was here, long before my mother's mother was here. And part of this piece was, kind of the guilt that I feel for not knowing the things about my people that I feel like I should know, and trying to find space to forgive myself for those things. And yeah, I think of my elders and my mom and my family, and how just compassionate and loving they are. And to me, that's enough. That's what it means to be Kohari. And I'm still, finding that peace and that forgiveness for myself, but it's definitely a process. And I gave myself the space with this piece in order to, try to start that.
Mm. And I know too, you talked about a little of what you said too was the difficulty of being Indigenous, but being far away from the land in which you're Indigenous on. And I'm wondering, that's like really powerful, the ways in which the folks from your tribe have inspired you. and the ways in which like we were able to feel that as viewers through the piece. And I'm wondering too how folks specifically here on Coast Salish land have inspired you as well too, and what that's looked like just as a person, like you were saying, who's Indigenous but not necessarily to these lands, and the difficulty but also the really inspiring parts of that have inspired you.
Yeah, the Coast Salish people are just some of the most phenomenal people I've ever had the privilege of meeting and of learning from. Really, there's just so much strength and beauty here in these lands and in these waters. And everyone, the Indigenous community here in Seattle has been so welcoming. I mean, it is a very urban Indian area, and there are, the Indigenous people that are of here, like Muckleshoot, and then there's a lot of other Native people here who are not from, this area. And it's really powerful to be able to find that connection and that space, and thinking about, the water like this event is. For me personally, that's super powerful because, the people here, they are water protectors, and that's something that is very sacred to them. And my people are also water people. We are on the Coharie and the Nusiak rivers. And, the beautiful thing about water is that it's connected. Anywhere there's water, it's connected to other bodies of water. And being able to return to that space, literally in doing this, was just really, really powerful and heartwarming.
Definitely. Well, I'm bummed that we have to say bye, but at this point, thank you so much for sharing two pieces. It was really, really amazing to see and hear you get to speak more about them. And I'm excited to see more from what comes from you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to welcome back my co-host, Mr. David Rue, who's going to kick off some information about the next performer. We have not somehow gotten to do this, both show up in the same screen at the same time for this event. So virtual hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Chilling. Loving that like fly ass high top fade.
I'm like, it's good to see you. It's good to see you electronically.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, I am going to introduce our next performer, Kimisha Turner. But before I do that, y'all heard me say earlier that I also work at Seattle Art Museum. I do public engagement. And in a lot of my work, I've had the honor of working with Kimisha in multiple capacities, whether it's Kimisha as a performer doing things with kitchen sessions, with CD Forum and Imani Sims, or having Kimisha produce incredible mural work for Sam. The title's called It Ain't Just a River in Jordan. You saw that work on the panels outside of the museum. And then we had the honor of having it inside the space. And Kimisha, you really responded to that in a really beautiful way.
Thank you.
As a response to the world that we are living in the wake of everything that's happening. I'm going to read your bio, and then we're going to see your work, and then we're going to come back and get a chance to hear more from you.
Thank you.
Kimisha Turner is a Washington-born and raised and heavily influenced by diverse creative expressions. For over a decade, she's dedicated her focus on innovative ways of creating and interpreting the world as it relates to the human experience. Kimisha, thank you again so much for sharing your work. We're going to see the incredible performance that you made. And then after that, Ricky's going to have a chance to talk to you about some more contextualizations of what you were thinking with that work. But as a representative of Sam, and also as a Black person, as a creative professional, and as a dancer, mover, whatever you want to call it, I really appreciate all the things that you do. So thank you again so much.
It's my honor. Thank you. I'm excited for you to see it.
Thank you. Let's hit it.
I'm Kimisha Turner, and I'm the creator of I Am Recession and I Am Reflections on Water. I'm so proud of what transpired today. We had some amazing, beautiful Black women facilitators bless the Pier 62, the newly opened Pier 62, with love and positive energy, and take up space, create worthiness, create love, create abundance, and acknowledgement of how powerful, beautiful Black women are and can be when they give themselves the space to acknowledge it. So
I feel amazing. I feel empowered. I feel uplifted. I feel healed. I feel amazing.
Peace, everyone. This is Nakua. I'm happy that I got a chance to be a part of this beautiful connection to water and Blackness and femininity. And though I see myself balancing masculinity and femininity at the same time at a 50-50, it is necessary to also acknowledge the femininity and to acknowledge the femininity in Mother Nature, and that being the water. So I am very appreciative of Kimisha for allowing me to be part of such a beautiful gathering. Thank you.
Because I am. 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 I am. Because I am. Because I am. I am. Because you are. We are. Here. Here. Present. Present. Worthy. Worthy. Full of love. Full of love. Able to give love. Able to receive love.
I love Black women. I love them all. Big ones, small ones, short ones, tall ones, light ones, dark ones. Love them like the sight of fire, taste of sunshine. Love the way they walk, love the way they talk, fix their face like stone. Love the way they fight. I love the way they love. I love Black women. I love them all.
Hello. Before we start, I just wanted to say someone in the chat said that you're a blessing, and I think that that is 200% true. That piece was I Am, Reflections on the Water by Kimisha Turner, who's on screen. Hello, hello. How's it going?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm so happy to be here. This whole show has been incredible, and you guys have done an amazing, amazing job putting it together. So I'm honored.
Awesome. Well, I mean, here, I'm going to just bring some folks onto the screen real quick who are also a part of it.
Yes.
And do you want to just go ahead and introduce the folks who are on the screen? Also introduce the folks who may not be here as well, too, and just their roles in the piece?
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out. Jen Moore did the beautiful music and the poem that you heard at the end of the video. I think her audio's not working so well, so I know she's watching, so just give her love. And then Anastasia Renee did our amazing I Am chants, and she wasn't able to make it, so I wanted to make sure I give love there. Who you see on the screen is Cyrita Bernal, who did the amazing Yamanya dance, gorgeous dance, and just honored the space. And Nakua, who grounded our space when we started doing the art piece. And honestly, I really couldn't have pulled all of this off without their contributions. So give love to those artists.
And y'all are like super brilliant for that. Like that was really, really amazing to watch and see the product of what coming together meant for y'all. And I wanted to start with you, Kimisha, start with you, Naa. I loved how intertwined everything was, from the water to the clothing choices, to the colors, to the movements. And y'all talked a little bit around seeing the femininity in the water. And I'm wondering if you could help us just understand the connection between that a little more, between water and femininity and Blackness, and how that meaning for y'all was reflected in the piece.
For me personally, I feel like, we're made of 70% water. When I think about how women, especially Black women, have to kind of move through our society and everything, I think about that quote from Bruce Lee, like, be like water. You kind of have to go with the flow. There's a lot of things that are thrown at us, a lot of tides, and we're connected, with the cycles. And I was just so honored to be able to kind of express that in an art piece along with Friends of Waterfront. And I knew that these ladies as well would be able to add something, amazing to it. So
I'm gonna just get to the next question. And this one's for Sarita, for you, Kimisha. We're in a time where everyone is being asked to compromise in some way. And at the same time, I feel like we as a country have put a really tremendous burden on Black women, even outside of the pandemic, to compromise for just about everyone, oftentimes without thanks and without gratitude. So I'm wondering if y'all could speak to the non-negotiables, the things that as creators you found central to the piece, that even with the pandemic, you were like, no, I'm going to make sure that that's going to make it into the piece. So yeah, curious about that. And then we could try and go back to Na really quick about that question.
Black women aren't recognized, as you had mentioned before, the way they should be. I mean, just look at our election that just happened, and Stacey Abrams, killing it on behalf of Georgia. And I just felt like with this performance, it's actually a sister performance to a procession that I do. It's a way to just kind of provide a space for us to recognize each other, not pit each other, against each other or one another, and take up space. I'd love to hear, though, Sarita's as well, her contribution and what she thought of that.
Hey, y'all. Good. I can't hear you now, or maybe not. Anyway, I first just want to give thanks for Kimisha reaching out and having, me be a part of this expression. I truly just feel that kind of divinely we're all connected. And right now, it was a huge relief for me to be able to make an offering to the water. It was almost as if it was perfect timing when Kimisha reached out, and I was just like, actually, yes, that's the best thing I can do right now. So I just feel very honored to connect and to embody Yemonja, to give that offering. Yemonja gives us things all the time. She holds us. She's the goddess of water. So she sustains us. And I am just so thankful to be able to offer a small, expression of what that means to me on a personal level.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And I think, Na, are you on?
I'm in here. What's up?
Hello. I'm glad we could roll through that. But yeah, and then we'll just kick it to you and you can close this out. But really curious around, if you wanted to speak to that connection a little more around water, Blackness, and femininity. And when I heard that, it really hit.
Definitely. I think Sarita actually kind of it was supposed to happen this way. It was supposed to be like Kimisha, then Sarita, then me, because the issuing in, or the offering in of Yemaya, and Yemaya being the goddess of water, and also Yemaya kind of controlling the surface of the water. And then you have Oshun that deals with the river, and we're talking about Orishas, and those are deities from the Yoruba, West African spirituality, or African spirituality. So you have Yemaya dealing with the surface, dealing with the us floating, when we are being held. And when we think about being held, we think about being held by our mother. And then not realizing, but realizing when you were in the womb, you were being held, and you were being held mainly by water, by the water of your mother's womb. So it would just make sense that the femininity has an expansion throughout not only our physicality, but also through nature and through our spirituality. And then I have to bring up Olokun, which is another Orisha, and he deals with the depth. Now we're talking about that balance of masculinity and femininity that I talked about in the video. So you have Yemaya, Oshun, and Olokun that, kind of like bigs up, but respects the femininity and the energy that is within, and that is within the bodies of women. So that is my word out there.
Yes, and that's why I had to reach out to these ladies. You can see their brilliance. They're just amazing.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's just so beautiful to be able to close out on, thinking about like, this is our last performance, and we started off with the Muckleshoot Canoe Family, and now to end here. I'm just really thankful to be able to have all of y'all here, and bummed that we couldn't get Jen on, but thanks y'all for being here and for really closing us out in that really thoughtful way.
And thank you for your amazing questions, and this whole thing is incredible. God bless everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna bring back David and do some closeout stuff now. Hello again.
Hello, hello. Okay, so I know that I cannot see everybody on the internet, but can we all just take a second to do an electronic round of applause, an electronic body roll, an electronic hair pat, whatever you need to give love to these incredible, incredible artists. I want to, of course, thank all of the artists, our incredible producers, and all of our community partners, and of course, everybody that tuned in tonight. Again, the conversation does not have to stop. Keep on putting things in the chat. Also, if you found anything that moves you, reach out to the artists. I mean, everyone that shared work today inspired me beyond measure, and I'm so, so, so grateful. Ricky, what are your thoughts on the night?
I'm like, it's been such a wild week, a wild year, a wild 84 years, a wild 400 years. So to be here right now with you, with the artists, and just see what the production team, Davida, Jordan, and y'all were able to put together. Footsum, Sagai with the really beautiful, beautiful like shots. I'm just really, really glad that I was able to spend tonight with y'all.
Likewise, likewise, likewise. I'm so grateful. Again, thank you all so much again. Ricky, it was an honor co-hosting with you.
Yeah, I hope we get to do it again. That was so dope.
Do it again, everybody. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's keep the conversation going. Celebrate the beauty of all of the artists that we just shared, and have an amazing rest of the night, everybody.
Have a good night, y'all.